Good morning. Welcome to Monday Morning Coffee and Chat with Hallee Bridgeman. I'm so happy you could join me. I have water this morning because I'm still in the Daniel fast, which means no coffee for me, which is tomorrow will be the end of week 2. So at this point I'm used to it. But I was in a meeting the other day with one of Scott's teachers, and he was drinking a cup of coffee. And I was like, that smells so good. So a week from tomorrow at sundown, I think I might just have myself a cup of coffee just to have it. So I'm doing something different today. I'm live on my author page and on my main profile page. And so I have a computer and and my phone going. And so hopefully I can do this. That's a lot of simultaneous technology happening, and I'm not positive if I can make it work, but I will try. So, okay. Happy New Year. The last time I talked to you, I was getting ready for Christmas. And I said I would be back Christmas Eve, and I said I would be back on New Year's Eve. However, I forgot those days were Mondays. Like Christmas Eve, I was busy doing Christmas things. My daughter was home and everything. And then, like, at noon, I was like, oh, it's Monday. And then New Year's Eve, it was kind of the same thing. We had company coming, and I think my daughter, oh yeah, that's right, my daughter was coming in from Florida. She had borrowed our car and was swapping cars, and so I was making breakfast for them, and then it was probably 1:30 or 2 when I thought, oh no, I didn't do a video. So Happy New Year. I hope y'all had a great holiday season since I wasn't with you through it. And I'm curious if you guys do New Year's resolutions, your verse of the year, your word of the year. I don't normally do that kind of thing, but this year, like, overwhelmingly, God has given me the word joy. That's my word this year. And so I started researching joy and doing Bible word studies on the word joy. And I was at the mall with the boys yesterday, and I went into Pottery Barn while they were in another store, and they had this stocking holders, like the hooks, and it said joy, and they're like really heavy, like metal, strong, and I'm like, oh, this is a sign I should buy these because that's my word of the year. So anyway, so mine is joy, and hopefully that's what I give you this year is joy. So the question I'm answering today is, I love the Virtues and Valor Series. Let me see if I can read it. I love the Virtues and Valor Series. Read all of them. I want more. Do you think you will add more to the series? So the Virtues and Valor Series, if you haven't read it, is my World War II series. And it takes place in a fictional town in occupied France. And the characters in my story and the events that happen to them are all fictionalized. However, all of my main characters were inspired by real life heroes and heroines from World War II. So I wrote originally 7 books, and then was inspired to write the 8th book. And so the first book is, and it's about a team of women who are spies and agents inside occupied France. And their team is called the Virtues, and all of their code names are heavenly virtues. So you have temperance, hope, prudence, charity, grace, faith, mercy. And in the first book, Temperance is captured. She's the wireless operator in occupied France, and she's captured by the Nazis. And the following 7 books are the planning and execution of her rescue. But they're told each from a different team member's perspective. And so, like, the second book is Homeland's Hope, and that's told from the point of view of the woman whose code name is Hope, etc. So when I wrote this series, I wrote it really, really fast. And I knew what the story was, and I had it plotted out, and thought that I would write it while I was traveling. This was this year that I had so much traveling. And I found out when I sat down to write it that I couldn't really write in a hotel room. Like, it wouldn't come to me. And So I would get home from one trip and sit down and just write as fast as I could, and then leave for another trip and then get home and sit down and write as fast as I could. So what happened was it came down to it where I was having to write a book in 2 weeks and get it to my editor and receive another book from her and apply those edits and get it to another editor and write another book and get it to the editor, to where we were just as fast as we could, because the books were publishing one every month, and I had already published the first 2 or 3 when all of this massive travel hit me. And so when I sat down to read it for the first time, like as a whole, because it's like each story grows on itself and the layers are added, and it's just this complex story with, 8 different points of view. And I was amazed. I was actually amazed that I pulled it off. Like, I sat down to read it and I'm like, how did I do this? This is a great story. This is a great book. And, as the story unfolds, you get caught up and you think you know what happened, and then more happened. And it was exactly what I wanted to do. And I did it so fast that I didn't pay attention. I had like whiteboards all over my office, which at the time in our house there was the dining room. So like all over the dining room were these whiteboards with plots for each of the books. And I had where I could have multiple screens on my computer. So I would be writing this one, but reading this one to make sure that I was tying in the plot and the story with that one. And it was crazy. It was a crazy time. And so, I finished the 7th book and then was really, really compelled that I needed to add an 8th, because there was a character that was in all of the books that was on the Allies' side that was undercover also. And so I went ahead and created his story. And that ended up being like this romantic angle that happened through the entire series. That it wasn't supposed to be a romance, but somehow I managed to like throw 2 or 3 romances into this 8-book series. So that's the Virtues and Valor series. So the question is, am I going to write more? My writing schedule has planned for me to write a Pacific version of Virtues and Valor. I love World War II. I love World War II history. I love heroes and heroines, reading about them from World War II. But all of my research has always been on the European front. It's never, ever been on the Pacific front. There's just something about that side of it that I've always like mentally not wanted to study. However, because of the popularity and the love people have for the Virtues and Valor series, I felt like I needed to give something to the Pacific front. So 2 years ago, Greg and I went to Pearl Harbor and I began my research. Next spring, we're going to Japan. And so it's on my writing schedule, but I won't begin writing the books until my writing, I think I have it. So I start the first one August of 2020 is when I'll start writing it. By the time I start writing it, probably while we're in Japan, I will plot them. And I don't know what it will be. I don't know if it will be a team of women. I don't know if it will be a team of men. I don't know if it will be a team. I don't know what the story is for the World War II, but it will be in the Pacific, and it will be an 8-book series, and it will be similar to the Virtues and Valor series, where there's 8 books from different perspectives, and the story will grow on itself. So once I finish the Pacific one, will I go back to Europe? Oh, probably, because I have an idea. There was always this book that I was going to write that I haven't written yet. That when I sat down to write the Virtues and Valor series, I thought, oh, this will be my chance to write that book that I wanted to write. And it ended up not being the story that I wrote. So I will do something. I just don't know. It'll be probably 2022 before I have another European Virtues and Valor series written. But starting, let's see, probably February of 2021 is when those books will come, the Japan or the Pacific ones, and they'll be February, March, April. It'll be like the entire, all year, one book will publish one a month. And so, yeah. I do have plans on writing one. So thank you for that question. I'm so happy you enjoyed the Virtues and Valor series, because I love World War II. And I hope that my love of that generation and all of the people that were in it came through in my writing of that story. So, all right, I'm going to try to figure out how to close both of these live videos at the same time. And I hope that you guys have a great week. Happy New Year. If you have a word or a verse or a resolution for the year, let me know. I'd love to hear it. I love stuff like that. And I will see you next Monday. God bless you.